Hello everyone, welcome to the Mercury Virtual. Hope you are doing good. Today I am going to continue with the same module, that is a website design, and the same chapter, that is a HTML tutorial. In the last class we have discussed about the chapter number 15, that is HTML frames. That is how to divide the same browser window into the multiple parts, that is done by the HTML frames. Now I'm going to continue with this chapter, or we can say the new chapter, that is a frame chapter but the HTML iframe. So let's continue this chapter. Let's continue with the new chapter, that is the HTML iframes. So first of all, let's take a quick review what we have covered in the last class, that is the chapter number 15, that is the HTML frames. So frames are nothing but division of the same page into the multiple parts, that is the division of the same browser window into the multiple parts, that is known as the HTML frames. So when we divide the same page into multiple parts, either vertically or horizontally, either that is in the rows format or the column format, that is known as the HTML frames, or that is done by the HTML frames. Into multiple parts, that is known as the HTML frame. Now what are the various disadvantages of the HTML frames, why it is not required to use the HTML frames? So there are a few drawbacks that will be used, that is recommend to unuse the frames. So some smaller devices cannot cope up with the frames. So if I'm using some smaller devices that cannot cope up with the frames, and sometimes your page will be displayed differently on different computers. Suppose I'm using one computer and I'm using another computer, so different pages will be using different computers due to the different screen resolution. And there is no back button that is not work during the frames. I'm not going back. That is one of the limitation, one of the disadvantage of using the frames. Then next we have studied about how to create the frame by using the tag that is known as the frame set tag. So frame set tag defines how to create the frames by using the horizontal row and by using the horizontal column. So this is one of the output that will show, that is how to divide the main frame into the, or main window into the 3 rows. Now this is into the 3 columns. Now this is the output. This is 25%, 50% and the 25%. And these are the various attributes that should be used within the frame set attribute that is used. First is the COLS, that is a cols, then rows. So these are the two parts. One is cols, that means dividing the same window into 3 columns, that is a cols. One is a rows, that is a dividing the same window into 3 rows, that is known as a rows. Then border, that specifies the width of the border of each frame in the pixel, that is available in the pixel, that is a border. Then frame border, then frame spacing. And then next we have studied about what are the various attributes that will be used with the frame tag. So one is a frame set tag that defines the boundary. One is a frame tag that defines that within that frame which is the HTML page, which is the HTML window that will be opened, that is defined by the frame tag. So this is the frame tag attributes. One is the SRC, that is a source, that is one of the category that will be available. Then a name, that is what is the name of the we can say the frame name equals to this one, that means the frame has defined the name. This is also one of the attribute that is used with the frame tag. Then frame border, that specifies whether or not the border of that frame are shown, that is known as the frame border. Then margin width, that is what is the margin width that will be used, that is equals to 10, 20, 30, anything. Then margin height, then no resize, that is by default you can resize any frame by clicking and dragging on the borders of a frame. So you can define or you can resize, that means if I'm not saying that I'm not able to resize my frame, that is we can defining the attribute that is a no resize. Then scrolling, this attribute controls the appearance of the scroll bar that appears on the frame, that contains a value either yes, no or auto. Then the long descending, that is used to provide a link to another page containing a long description of the contents of the frame, that is a long description. Then we have discussed about the browser support for frames, that is what are the various browsers that is support from the frame. So this is available like this one. This is a no frame, this is a frame set target that is used with the frame sets. And these are the various, we can say, the attributes that will be available in the available with the target, that is used with the target. These are the various options. One is the target self, that loads the page on the into the current frame, that is a self. One is a blank, that moves the page, or we can say navigate the page into the browser or new browser window, that is a target blank. Then target parent, that loads the page into the parent window, which is in the case of the single frame set is the main browser window. Then it is target top, then move to the top of the window. Then target frame, that loads the page into the name target frame, whatever the name that is used with the target frame. Now next is the chapter number 16, that is the today's topic, that is HTML iframe. So that is very similar to the frame, Now we are defining the inline frame. That is, the inline frame means in between the window there is a frame that is used, that is known as the iframe. So you can define an iframe or inline frame with the HTML tag, that is the iframe. So full form of iframe is the inline frame, that is a iframe. So iframe tag is used on not show or somehow related to frame set tag. Instead, it can appear anywhere in your document. So this is not related to the normal frame set tag, but it appears anywhere in your document. That is, you can see any tag, you can see the tag that will be used within the frame set tag, that is a iframe. So the iframe tag defines a rectangular region within the document in which the browser can display a separate document, including the scroll bar and the border. So that is, iframe tag is used, that is used to define, that is what are the various attributes, what are the various content that should be used, that defines a rectangular region within the document in which the browser can display a separate document. That is it displays the rectangular region by which or in which the document or the browser can display there is a separate document that includes the scroll bar and the borders. Then src attribute is used to specify the URL of the document that occupies the inline frame. So one of the attribute that is used within the iframe, that is known as the src attribute, that is used to specify the URL of the document. URL means the uniform resource locator of the document that occupies the inline frame. Now this is the one of the example of the inline frame, that is the iframe that is used. This is same the doc type HTML, then HTML head, title, head, close, body of. So one is the doc type HTML, then head, then title. What is the title? That is the HTML iframes. And the title will be closed, head will be closed, body will be closed. Then P, document content goes here. This is the P, that is a paragraph that is available. Now use the iframe, not the frame, it is the iframe. Then src equals to HTML menu.htm. Then width equals to 555, height equals to 200. Sorry, your browser does not support the inline frame. So everything is given. After everything is given, there is a comment that is available, that your browser does not support the frame, your browser does not support the data, your browser does not support the content. So here we are also giving the width as well as the height, that is the width equals to 555 pixels, height equals to 200 pixels. Then it is available that sorry, your browser does not support the inline frame. Then the iframe will be closed, then the P will be open, again new P, that the document content also goes here. Then the P will be closed and the body will be closed and the HTML will be closed. So this is available like this one. So one of the important concept is that we are using the source within the iframe, that is the source equals to HTML menu.htm. This is one of the page that is available, that is known as the, or that is done with the, or that is connected with the iframe. Now this is document goes here. These are the menus that is available within the menu.html. This is available. Now document content can also goes here. So in simple terms, whenever we use the iframe, that will divide the window into the multiple part. That is first is we are giving the source that has a width equals to this one, height equals to this one. So this menu content has a width 555 and the height equals to 200. Now let's execute this code. So when we execute this code, first of all, I have to change the file name. I have to change over here. That is a linki.html. This one. Now save the file with the name iframe.html. Put on the desktop. Save the file. Minimize it. This is iframe.html. Now when you double click on it, a new page will be opened. A new browser window will be opened. Now this is the file cannot be found. Why this file cannot be found? Because this is linki.html, link underscore I. This is link underscore I.html. This is HTML. Now this is coming over here. This contains, that means the browser window is not divided into the parts that we have done, that is done with the use of frame. No, But this iframe divides, or we can say display the frame with the proper boundary, that is the height and the width, proper attributes. This has a height 555, this has a this has a width 555, this has a height 200. Now if I change over here, that is not 555, this is 35 or 455 or 355, and if it is 500, now let's see. Now if I refresh, now this is changed, the height becomes 500 and the width becomes 355. This is changed. So this is content goes here and the source will be given over here. Now, what are the various attributes that will be used within the iframe? Like there are attributes that will be used with the frame set, with the frame attribute or frame tag, frame set tag. Now, what are the various attributes that will be used with the iframe tag? So most of the attributes of the iframe tag, including the name, class, frame border, ID, long descending, the same as we done in the frame set tag. So what are the various tags that will be used? That includes the name, class, frame border, ID, long descending, margin height, margin width, name, scrolling style, and the title. Now first of all, there is a source, that is a SRC source, that is the iframe source. This attribute is used to give the file name that should be loaded in the frame. So whatever the file name, whatever the content that will be used, that will be loaded into the iframe, so that is content will be available within the SRC tag. So this attribute, or the SRC attribute, this attribute is used to give the file name that should be loaded in the frame. Its value can be any URL. So we are giving any URL, that is a source. For example, src equals to html topframe.html, that is load an HTML file that is available in the home directory, that is a src tag. Now next is the attribute that is given, that is a name. So this attribute allows you to give a name to a frame. So whatever the name that is given, that is allowed or that is used to give a name to a frame. That means the same as we covered in the frame tag, that is the src, that is the source. Name means that is used for the coding. Then frame border, the same, yes or no, that contains two value, either yes or no, as we do in the frame set tag. Now margin width, that is also again the 10 20 as we do in the margin width, that allows to specify the width of the space between the left and the right of the frame border. So whatever the margin that you are using, that contains in the width and the height, that is the margin width and the margin height. Then no resize. So by default you can resize any frame by clicking and dragging the border of a frame. The no resize attributes prevents a user from being able to resize the frame. For example, no resize equals to no resize. That means the user cannot able to drag the content, drag the file, drag the frame, because there is a content, there is an attribute that is used, that is a no resize. So that is no resize equals to, in double quotes, that is a no resize. Now again the scrolling, this takes three values, either yes, no, or the auto. So if you are using the yes, that means there will be a scrolling that is defined, and if you are using the no, that means it should not have a scroll bar. That means it does not have a scroll bar, that it does not move from up to the down or the left to the right. That is a scrolling. Then the long descending. So this attribute allows you to provide a link to another page containing a long description of the contents of the frame. For example, long descending equals to frame description.html. That is you, that is a long descending. So this is what is covered within the chapter number 16, that is the HTML iframes. Now let's move to the next chapter, that is chapter number 17, that is the HTML blocks. That is what are the various HTML blocks, how we are using the HTML blocks. Now let's start with the chapter number 17, that is the HTML blocks. So all the HTML elements is divided into two categories, that is the blocks or the elements and the inline elements. So these are the there are two categories in which the HTML elements are classified or categorized, that is the block level elements or the inline element. That is either we are using the block level element, that is either we are using the inline elements. So what are the various block elements that should be used? So block elements appears on the screen as if they have a line break before and after them. So if there is a line break before and after them, that is used as a block elements. For example, the P, H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, S6, UL, OL, DL. These are the various these are the various block level element that should be used, that is used with the HTML elements, and they should start with their own new line. Anything that follows them appear on its own new line. So that is automatically it moves to the new line, that is the HTML block that will be used. For example, H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6, and the H7. That is used with the HTML tags. So that is used with the HTML blocks. So there are two parts that is used with the HTML blocks. One is the block level elements, one is the inline element. So whenever we use the block level element, that should be used, that is used with the H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. Like these are the various block level element that should be used. That start with the P, that's H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6, and the UL, OL, DL. So these are the various inline elements or the block level elements. They all, that is whatever the tag that should use, they all starts on their own line, and anything that follows them appears on its own new line. So whatever the content that is followed on the HTML block level element, that should be displayed within the HTML element, that should displayed within the HTML blocks, and that is used with the H1, H2, and they start with the on with their own new line, and anything that follows them appears on its own new line. The next is the inline element. So one is the block level element, that is clear, that is the H1, H2, P tag, these are known as the block level elements. Now next is the inline elements. Now let's see what are the various inline elements that on the other hand can appear within the sentence and do not have to appear on a new line on their own. That is, this is not that automatically a new line will be inserted like we have seen in the H1, H2, that is block level elements. But in this, the every concept is same, that is they do not appear on the same new line, but they appear on the same line, same line, same line. That is a BIUEM strong. So whatever the activities, we can say whatever the content that will be displayed, that is used with the inline element. That is, there is no new line automatically jump to the new line. The various examples of the inline elements are BIU, EM, strong, SUP, SUB, big, small, li, INS, del, code, site, DFN, KBD, variable, that is a where elements are known as the inline elements. So inline elements means there is no new line that automatically inserted, but the content will be displayed one after another within a sequence. That is the inline elements. So one is the block elements, one is the inline elements. Now grouping the HTML element, that is how to group the HTML element. So there are two important tags that we frequently use to group the HTML elements. There are two tags that should be used. One is a div, that is a division tag, or we can say, yeah, divide tag, and the span tag, that is a spanning tag. So these are the two tags that should be used, that is used to group the HTML elements. So there are two important tags that we are frequently used to group the HTML elements. One is the div tag, one is the span tag. So this is a very important block level tags, which plays a big role in grouping the various HTML tags and applying the CSS on the group or the element. So there are two parts by which we can group the HTML elements. One is the div tag, one is the span tag, and div tag is very important block tag that displays a big role in grouping various other HTML tags and applying the CSS on the group of the element. That is, whatever the element that is providing, that is displayed with the help of the div tag. That displays a big role in grouping various other HTML tags and applying the CSS on a group of element. That is how to apply the CSS, that is a cascading style sheet on a group of element, that is done by the div tag. And even now div tag can be used to create the web pages or web page layout, where we define the different parts, that is left, right, or center. So there are different parts that should be used, that defines the layout, that is also displayed using the that is also used with the HTML, that is also used with the div tag. So there are three parts that is used. One is the left, one is the right, one is the top. And this tag does not provide any visual change on the block, but this has more meaning when it is used with the CSS. So this tag does not provide any visual change on the block, but has a more meaning when it is used with the CSS. So when it is used with the CSS, it makes a more impact on the CSS. So this tag does not provide the visual change on the block, but this has a more meaning when it is used with the CSS, that is a cascading style sheet. This is one of the example, that is a simple example of the div tag. We will learn CSS in a separate chapter, but we have used it here to show the usage of the div. So we have learned this in the different chapter as we told you, but we have studied about the CSS in the this for the sake of the CSS, that is cascading style sheet. So this is the doc type HTML, then HTML head, then title. What is the title that is available? That is the HTML div tag. So it is displayed in the title bar, that is the HTML div tag that should be used, that is used with the CSS. Then the head will be closed, body will be open, and within the body the first line, that is a comment, that is the first group of tags. Now look, this is the comment, and this is not executed by the HTML browser, because what I said, when we talk about the HTML comments, that is they are not we can say they are not executed, or comments are not executed by the HTML browser. That is the first group of tag, that is we can say the comment. Then the new tag will be used, that is a div style equals to color red. So that is the color that is given is a red, that is a div. What is the tag that is used? That is a div tag, and the style that is used, that is a color. Style has a color, or the div has a color, the style, that is a red in the color, that is a color red. Then it is using the H4. In the H4, this is mentioned that this is the first group, that is it is highlighted in the bigger we can say the content, that is the H4, that is this is the first group. Then the p tag will be used, that is following is a list of the vegetables. So this is say that p tag, that is following is a list of the vegetables. Then ul, that is again you are using the unordered list, that is a ul. Then li, that is a beetroot, then ginger, then potato, then radish, then the ul will be closed. So there is a ul that is used, and these are the four li that is used with the unordered list, that is used with the bullet list, that is a beetroot, ginger, potato, radish. Then the div will be closed. So this is one div that has a style red, this is the closing of the div. Now next is the second group of tags. So this is the first group of tag, next is the second group of tag that is used. This is div style equals to color green. So this is the style that is given, that has a color green. Then the H4, that is a heading 4 will be used, that says this is second group, that is the H4, that is the heading number 4. Then P, in the P it is used, that is following is a list of fruits. So in the P tag it is used, that following is a list of groups, that is also displayed with the help of the P tag, that is a paragraph tag. Then the ul, again there is a bullet list that is used, and there are four li's, that is apple, banana, mango, strawberry. Then ul will be closed, div will be closed, body will be closed, html will be closed. So in simple terms, these are the two parts, these are the two divs that is used. This is one div, that is the first group of tags, this is the next div. In div we are using the h4, we are using the p tag, we are using the ul one together. This is the first group that is given, following is the list of vegetable. Then this is the second group, then following is a list of fruits, like this one. So div is used to divide the main content, or we can say that divide the browser window into the multiple parts. So one is the first group, that is this is the first group, then these are the various list of the vegetables, then this is the second group, and these are the list of the, or following is the list of the fruits. So one is the vegetables, one is the fruits, and the first group contains the vegetables, second group contains the fruits. Right. Now div is finished. Now next tag is the span tag, that is how to use the span tag within the HTML. So HTML span tag is an inline agreement, and it can be used to group the inline elements in an HTML document. So one is a div that divides the main browser window into the multiple parts. One is a span, that is also inline element, that is everything is available in a sequence in a line. That is an inline element, and it can be used to group the inline elements in a HTML document. And this tag also does not provide any visual change that should be used on the block, but has a more meaning when it is used with the CSS. So whenever it is used with the CSS, that has a more meaning whenever we use the span tag within the CSS. So whenever we use the we are using the span tag that is used with the CSS, that it does not provide any visual change on the block, but this has a more impact on the CSS. And the difference between the span and the div tag is that span tag is used with the inline elements, whereas the div tag is used with the block level elements. So this is the main difference among the div and the span tag. What is the main difference? Div is used with the block level elements and the span tag is used with the inline elements. And this is one of the example that is given of the span tag. So the following is a list of the example. We will learn the CSS in a separate chapter, but show how to use the span tag. This is again the same title, head, body will be starting, the everything is same, that is available over here. Now this is a p tag. In the p, this is available, that is this is the span. This is available within the p tag, and there is again starting of the span tag, that is a span style equals to color red. So what is the style that is used? That is a color red. What is the content? That is a red, then span. Then this is span style equals to color green, that is available within the green color. So this is available within the green color. This is green, that is GRREN, green. Then the span will be closed, body will be closed. So whenever I execute this code, that will be available. So let's execute this code, first one, that is the div code. So let's execute this code. I have to save this code with the iframe 1.html, put on the desktop. This is iframe 1.html. Now let's see. This is so sorry, this is not 17 chapters. Now this is the first group, that is the first group that is available in the red color. Following is a list of the vegetables. These are the various vegetables. Now this is the second group. This is in green color, that is following is the list of the fruits. So div tag divides the same browser into the two parts. One is in the red color, one is in the green color. Now let's execute another code, that is a span tag. That is a inline element, and the divide is the block level element. Now it is in the different line, that's why it is known as the block level element, because in the block level elements every content is available within the separate line, that is one line, one line, one line, one line. Now next is the span tag, that is used within the same line. So if I save the file with this one, that is a span .html. When I save this file, this is the span.html. Now this is red and this is green. This is available within the green color. Look, this is the use of the div and the span tag. One is the block level element that is displayed in the different lines. One is the inline element that is displayed within the same line. Now next chapter is chapter number 18, that is the HTML background. That is how to give the HTML background. That is the next chapter. So let's take a break right now, then move to this topic, that is the HTML backgrounds. So come back from the break. Now let's start the session again. So in the that is chapter number 18, that is we are going to study, that is the HTML background. That is how to prevent or how to set the HTML background so that it will be used in a HTML. So what are the various background techniques, what are the various attributes or the tags that will be used in the HTML background. So by default your web page background is white in color. So whenever we are using the HTML, so by default it is available or it is used, or the background color that is used, or the background that is used is the white in the color. You may not like it, but no worries. HTML provides the two ways to decorate your web page as a background. So there are two ways by which we can decorate our web page decorate our web page HTML page background. So there are two ways. What are the two ways? First of all, first is the HTML background with the colors. So we are filling the HTML background with the colors also. That is the HTML background with colors. Then next is the HTML background with images. So we are using either HTML background, that is with the colors, we are filling the color, that is the background, or we are filling the HTML images, that is the HTML images, or that is The HTML images, or we can say the HTML background with the images. So there are two parts: either we are using the HTML background with the colors, either we are using the HTML background with the images. Now let's see both the approaches one by one using the appropriate examples. So first approach is HTML background with the colors. So how to use the HTML background with various color. So the BG color attribute is used to control the background of an HTML element. So which attribute is used to control the HTML background? That is the BG color attribute that is used to control the background of an HTML element, specifically page body and the table background. So BG color is used to control the background, to control the content that is used to control the background of an HTML element, especially page body and the table background. And following is the syntax, that is how to give the BG color attribute with the any HTML files. That is the tag name, BG color equals to color value. So what is the color value? That is either red, green, blue, whatever the color that you want, that is displayed with the help of the value within the double quote. That is the BG color equals to color value. Now this color value can be given in any of the following formats. These are the various formats. Now format number one, that is using the color name, that is the BG color equals to line. So this is a table, that is a table, and then content is BG color equals to line. So what's the BG color or the background color of a table? That is the lime color. Then this is the format to use the hex value, using the hexing value that is used with. So it can take either the hex value, either the color name directly. So this is format number one, that is given in the command. This is the format number two, that is given in the hex value, that this is the color value in the RGB terms. So we are also giving the color values in the RGB terms, that is the red, green, blue, that is either 200, 120, that is the RGB B, that is the red, green and the blue color. So this is the three format, that is how we are using the BG color. That is the BG color equals to line, BG color equals to hex value, hexadecimal value, then the BG color equals to RGB, that contains the 10, 20 and or 00 and the 120, that is used. That is the BG color, that is in the RGB format, that is in the red, green and the blue format, that is available, that is the RGB. So this is the example to set the background of HTML tag. This is a doc type, then HTML head, then title, that is the HTML background color, that is the title that is given, then the head will be closed and the body will be opened. Then after the body, this is the format number one, that is how to use the color name, that is the table BG color equals to yellow. So whatever the color that will be used, that is the table has a background color, that is a yellow, and the width of the table is the 100%. So this is the width of the table, that is 100%. Then TRTD, that is the TR is the row and the TD is the cell. This is the background is yellow, this background is yellow, then TD will be closed and the TR will be closed and the table will be closed. These are the three values that will be used, or these are the, we can say, the background color that is used, the color name, that is the yellow. Then use the hex value, that is the table BG color equals to hash 6666FF, that is a hex value, that is hexadecimal value that is given, that is BG color equals to hash 666FF, then width equals to 100%, then TRTD, and this is background is sky blue. So this hex value has a color blue. Then again this is closed, then this is format 3, that is use the color name in the RGB format, that is 255 that is a green color. Because why it is green color? That is a red, green and the blue. So this background is a green color because it is giving the value as a 0, and the red color is also 255, blue color is also 255, but the green has a 0, so this is shows the background in the green. So first shows the background as a yellow, then sky blue, then the green color. This is how we are using the HTML background. Either we are using the color name, either we are using the hexadecimal value, either we are using the RGB format, that is the RGB, that is the red, green, blue. Now let's execute this code. Now let's execute about this code, that is bg color dot html. Put on the desktop. Now go to the desktop. This is bgcolor.html. Now let's execute this code, that is the bg color in the we are using. So first is, what is the first line? That is the doc type, then HTML, then head, then what is the title? That is the HTML background color. Then the head will be closed. Then the format number 1, that is use the color name. Then table will be formed, that is a BG color as a yellow. Then table number 2, that has a hexadecimal, that has a blue color. Now this is a green color. Now let's see what is the output of this one. Now this is a background is a yellow, this is sky blue, and this is green. So there are three outputs. One is the table, that is in the yellow color background. Next is the table, that is the sky blue background. One is the table that is in the green color background. Now next is the HTML background with the images. So one part we have finished, that is how to set the background or HTML background with the colors. Now how to set the HTML background with the images. So the background attributes can also be used to control the background of an HTML element, especially the page body and the table background. So this background attribute is also used with the images, that is we can also set the background as an image of an HTML element, especially page body and the table backgrounds. You can specify an HTML or you can specify an image to set the background of your HTML page or the table. Now this is the syntax, that is how to use the background attribute with any HTML page. Now what is the background attribute? That is a deprecated, and it is recommended to use the style sheet for background settings. That is a background attribute. This is tag name, that is whatever the tag name that is given, that is a background equals to image URL. So whatever the URL of the image that is given in the background, that is a background equals to that one image. And if we are using the color, that is a BG color equals to red, green, blue, whatever the color that is using. So this is the difference. So one is a BG color, one is a background that is used. So one BG color that shows the color of the background, and one is the background that shows the one is the background that shows the image of the background. So how it is used? Simply use the tag name, then the background equals to image URL, whatever the URL of the image that is, or whatever the URL of the image that is displayed with the help of the background. Now let's see the difference. This is a BG color that is used over here, that is a BG color equals to yellow, and this is the background, that is a background image, that is a background equals to URL of the image. And the most frequently used format that is used with this one are the JPG, GIF, and the PNG format. So these are the various formatted, or these are the various images or the frequently used format that is used with the JPG file. And these are the various examples, that is how to set the background image of a table. This is doc type HTML head. Then this is the title that is given, then set the table background, that is table background equals to images, that is the html.gif. So one of the table or one of the image that is given, that is displayed within the HTML, that is a html.gif, that is a graphics interchange format, that is a background, and that has a width, and we are also giving the attribute, that is a width and the height. So that has a width that is equals to the 100%, height that is also equals to the 100%. So there are two attributes that will be used, that is the height and the width. So width also contains the 100%, height also contains the 100%. Now next is the tr and the td. One is a table row, one is a table data, that is a cell. So this background is filled up with the HTML image. then TD will be closed, then TR will be closed, then the table will be closed. So this is a background, that is image that is available, that is the html.gif. So this is the image that is used. Now next is the pattern and the transparent background, that is how to display the pattern in the transparent background. So you must have seen that many pattern on the transparent background is used. Now this is the example, that is how to use with the pattern background. So this is the doc type. So this can simply be achieved by using the patterned image or the transparent image in the background. So if I want the pattern background in the at the back of the image, at the back of the table, or the transparent background at the back of the table, so we can simply set by using the pattern and the transparent backgrounds. And it is suggested that while creating the pattern or the transparent backgrounds, GIF or the PNG formats use the smallest dimensions possible, even as small as 1 by 1, to avoid the slow loading. So use the 1 by 1 format, use the 1 by 1 image, that is even as a small as a 1 by 1, to avoid the slow loading. So if to avoid the slow loading, that will be used, that is used to change the format of the data. And it is suggested that while creating the or transparent, or while creating the pattern or the transparent GIF or the PNG images, use the smallest dimension possible, even as small as 1 by 1, to avoid the slow loading. So this is the title that is given, that is the doc type HTML head, then title, that is the HTML background images, then the head will be closed, body will be open, then within the body that will be used, that is the set a background or set a table background using the pattern. So first part is how to set the background with the pattern. So this is the table background, that is a pattern, width, height, then TRTD, this is the background that is with the pattern. Then another example is the background with the without using the pattern. This is also another pattern that will be used. This is the pattern that will be used. This is the pattern that will be used. So these are the two patterns that will be used over there. One is a pattern number 1, one is a pattern number 2. This is different pattern, this is different pattern. Now let's move to the chapter number 9. No, I'm not moving to chapter number 9 in the today's class, because there is no student available. I'm only one, the teacher, that speak always. There's no student available. So let's stop over here only. In the next class, that is in the tomorrow's class, I'm taking your next topic, next chapter, that is chapter number 19, that is the HTML colors. So let's stop over here only. And if there is any doubts, any suggestions of any student, if they download the lectures, if they listen the recorded lecture, so you can ask the doubts from me. Thanks a lot everyone. Bye bye, and we will meet tomorrow with a new chapter, that is chapter number 19, that is the HTML colors. So bye bye everyone.